You're scrolling through a sea of home gym options because you want something that actually fits into your life, something reliable enough that you won't be fighting with it every time you hop on, easy enough that you won't need a manual the size of a novel, and worth the money when the novelty wears off. That hesitation is real. You've probably heard the hype about big screen bikes and wondered if the promise of studio-style workouts is just a clever marketing ploy. The risk of spending a chunk of your budget on a piece of equipment that ends up as a pricey coat rack is what keeps many of us on the fence. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. What I tried to figure out before hitting record was what day-to-day life looks like with a Peloton bike in a typical apartment, how the membership really adds value beyond the screen, and whether the space-friendly claim holds up once you unpack it. The first thing that struck me was how the bike is marketed as a complete ecosystem, a 21.5-inch HD touchscreen that swivels, a built-in library of classes, and a subscription that promises personalized fitness plans. The idea is that you get a studio experience without leaving your living room. But the real test is whether that promise translates into something you can actually use, enjoy, and keep using for months, not just weeks. Let's talk setup. The box arrives with the frame already partially assembled, which is a relief compared to some other high-end bikes that require you to bolt together the entire structure. The instructions focus on tightening a few bolts, plugging in the power cable, and calibrating the resistance sensor. Most reviewers mention that you can have the bike up and ready in about 30 minutes if you have a clear spot on the floor. The space-friendly label is accurate if you have at least a 4 by 5 foot area. The bike's footprint is roughly 4 feet wide, and the swivel screen means you can angle it toward a wall or a window depending on the time of day. If you're living in a studio with a narrow hallway, you'll still need to be mindful of clearance for the pedals and for the screen's swing radius. In practice, I placed it in a corner of my living room opposite a bookshelf, and the bike fits without cramping the rest of the space. Now, daily usability. The biggest draw for many buyers is the screen. The 21.5-inch HD display is bright enough to be seen in daylight, and the swivel mechanism lets you adjust the angle without getting up. The interface feels more like a streaming service than a treadmill console. You scroll through live classes, on-demand sessions, and even a few yoga or strength videos that can be followed while staying seated. The personalized fitness plans are generated after you input a few data points: your current fitness level, goals, and how many minutes you want to work out each week. The algorithm then builds a schedule that mixes live rides, archived rides, and cross-training content. In my experience, the plan adapts if you skip a session, nudging you to make up the time without feeling punitive. The performance side is solid. Resistance changes smoothly, and the bike's belt drive stays quiet even at high intensities. This matters if you share a wall with a bedroom or work from home. You won't be waking up your partner or disrupting a Zoom call. The seat and handlebars are adjustable, and the cushions are firm enough to support longer rides without sagging, yet not so hard that a beginner feels punished. The built-in metrics: cadence, output, heart rate, if you pair a chest strap, are accurate enough for casual tracking, and they sync automatically with the Peloton app on your phone, so your data lives in one place. But there are trade-offs that become clear once the novelty fades. First, the membership cost is a recurring expense. While Peloton markets the subscription as value-packed, you're essentially paying for a streaming service on top of the hardware price. If you're the type who prefers free YouTube workouts or occasional bike rides outside, that ongoing fee can feel steep. The good news is that the content library is extensive. You'll never run out of new classes, and the live rides give you a sense of community that free content can't replicate. Still, if you're on a tight budget and can't justify a monthly charge, you might want to consider a bike that works well without a subscription, or use the bike's basic metrics only. Another practical limitation is the reliance on Wi-Fi. The screen won't load classes if your internet is spotty, and you can't watch a live class during a power outage. I've had a few instances where the bike froze for a minute or two while the router rebooted, which broke the flow of a high-intensity session. It's not a deal-breaker, but it's something to keep in mind if you live in an area with unreliable service. Who should buy this bike? If you're a busy professional who values structured workouts, enjoys the camaraderie of live classes,